Good evening, America. I'm Brian Gartland. And so is this guy. Welcome to the 5-Minute News Hour. Good evening, America. Welcome to the 5-Minute News Hour. I'm Brian Gartland. Our top story this evening. The Supreme Court heard arguments today in the last of 3 days of review for the so-called Obamacare bill, and are also deciding if any part of the Affordable Care Act is ruled unconstitutional. Does that mean the whole bill will be null and void? And while many justices have a problem with the idea that the bill is mandating citizens purchase something under federal law, Justice Anthony Scalia said, I'm sorry, this is really important stuff, but it's fucking boring. God, it's like watching golf. Tell me when it's over, and all I really care about is if the black guy won. In our next story this evening, Newt Gingrich has replaced his campaign manager and let a third of his staff go in an effort to keep his fledgling campaign alive, after a Washington Redskins-like losing streak in Republican primaries recently. Political insiders are likening the move to heading below deck of the Titanic with a couple of sponges and a big old bucket for the water. When asked what it was like to watch Newt over the last few weeks, a recently let go staffer responded simply, "Oh, the humanity." Not "oh, the huge manatee," more of a Hindenburg reference, being that he's a man blimp that's crashing and burning. Also, he's a manatee. A Michigan-based militia group were cleared of charges including sedition and attempting to use weapons of mass destruction this week by a federal judge after prosecutors were unable to convince anyone that Michigan is still technically part of the Union. President Ted Nugent and Vice President Kid Rock then entered the courtroom and demanded the free return of their citizens, adding, "Yeah!" A JetBlue captain who suffered a mental breakdown on a flight from New York to Las Vegas this week has been suspended by the airline. The captain, who was locked out of the cockpit by his co-pilot and restrained by passengers after screaming about a bomb and urging everyone to pray, has respectfully asked to be nicknamed the Anti-Sully, rather than some of the other nicknames which were floating around, such as the Charlie Sheen of the Sky and Air Otto. India's army chief this week told reporters that his country was ill-prepared to fight, saying that his tanks had no shells, the infantry was unable to fight at night, and war elephants hadn't made the jump to modern warfare like he had hoped they would. He then asked if America and India were cool. After being assured that they were, he said, "All right then, whenever we get around to it." Is it time for sports, Mike? Good. Jeremy Lin, the Knicks starting point guard and center of the perfect storm that was Linsanity, met with the ESPN editor who was fired after publishing the racially insensitive headline on their website, "Chink in the Armor," after the Knicks lost their first game since Lin was promoted to starter last month. Lunch was Lin's idea, Anthony Federico said, and Lin was very kind, that he was a perfect gentleman, and Lin responded that Federico was a pretty cool guy for a white devil. And both agreed the lunch was good, for a dirty fucking Mexican place. A group of investors headed by former Lakers great Irving Johnson had a bid approved of close to $2 billion by Major League Baseball this week to buy the Los Angeles Dodgers. The NBA Hall of Famer, who played over a decade in Los Angeles, winning 5 rings, 3 MVPs, 3 Finals Most Valuable Player awards, 12 All-Star appearances, retired from the game after being diagnosed with HIV in 1991, then went on to win a gold medal with the so-called Dream Team. Started a company that's worth over $700 million now, owns a chain of nationwide movie theaters, and has become a proud ambassador of the HIV and AIDS community, lending a familiar, grinning face to a global cause. Proving that for some people, magic is real and not just a nickname. Unconfirmed reports have Larry Bird burning Tommy Lasorda in effigy. And our final story this evening, the city of Baltimore, Maryland is exploring the ideas of selling historic landmarks to private investors in order to raise money for the financially struggling city. In response to outraged citizens, Pattaya Baelish told reporters that it's all in the game, adding, "When you walk through the garden, you better watch your back." I love The Wire. For all of me here at the 5-Minute News Hour, I'd like to thank you for tuning in. Have a good night and a great night. Should they have a good night and a great night, Mike? Yes, say yes. Unhelpful. Unbelievable.